Today, I propose to myself a challenge to make something difficult in an even more difficult location. I'm no stranger to working on vacation, but can I possibly build a fursuit while on a moving train of all places? Yes, I can. Was not hard. But I'm going to show you footage that I took of the process anyway, along with some relaxing train scenery. So, enjoy. I was traveling on the Via Rail, the Canadian, with my mom.
You need socks.
No, I'm good. And after navigating through Toronto's subway system, which was not very wheelchair-friendly, we finally made it to the train. And admittedly, one of the things that actually made this challenge so easy is because we had a private cabin. I didn't have to worry about being an absolute nuisance to the other passengers. The prestige class cabin was mine to leave supplies around if I felt like it or needed to. And I didn't have to worry at all about bothering anybody else. It was a far cry from having to be bent over in a berth in sleeper class or sharing a row of seats with anybody and everybody in economy class. So it was kind of cheating because it was basically like having a bedroom to work in. Of course, I did make sure to pack up my supplies at the end of each day when I was done with work, because I don't like clutter myself, and neither does my mom. Now, to start, I did cheat a little bit. The eyes are already painted. They're not sealed off with the plastic yet, but they are painted. But that's because I have to use an acrylic sealer to seal in the paint after they're done, and it's an aerosol can, and I definitely couldn't bring that on the plane on the way up here to Canada. So that is the one part that's done. And obviously I do my own cast bases for canines now. If you weren't doing that, you would probably just bring a block of foam with you. So, but that part is done. I have the Alana head mannequin, which is smaller than the Ed head, so you'd have to pad it out, but it works pretty much the same, and it's lighter, so it's easier to bring. Duct tape for patterning. This is just in case I need to ship something home. This is for dry brushing it later at the end. In here I have all of my tightly packed minkies, which are for various things like the mouth and the teeth and the nose and things like that. This is an extra thing of foam just in case I need it. It's also possibly being used for some ears. And this thin foam is what's going to go on the back of the head. And it's being held together with Velcro, which I don't believe I need for this head, but just in case, it's here if I need it. And it helps keep the foam intact. And back here is all of the fur, and it is just neatly wound up and held together with hair ties. But it's all the fur that I would need in order to finish this head. Like, just pre-cut. And there is this large piece here, because I actually ended up bringing my sewing machine, but it was for a different reason, and it's in the packed luggage, or the checked luggage. But this is the whole back of the head. I had a pre-made pattern for another head that I just copied, and I just wrapped it with an unused mask because I had nothing else. But, so this is everything you'd need for the back of the head and the neck, going by my pattern. But yeah, some monster shag in case I feel like doing hair. I may not do hair. And then those are the remaining colors. And in the back, I have all of the felt. There's also a piece of plastic in here for me to add over the eyes for when I need it. And finally, the piece de resistance is this. I made this out of a pair of jeans. 2 pairs of jeans, actually. Took about 2 hours and 4 broken sewing machine needles, but it is something I've wanted for a while. It is a carrying case for all of the fursuit supplies. And it is wonderful, and I love it. I have all my blades in here, my scissors, glue guns, glue sticks, sewing needles, just about everything that you need, and all the thread is in there too. And yeah, that's everything I packed, and it should, in theory, be able to complete one full fursuit head with everything that's in here. So let's get started and see how it goes. Day 1 was okay progress-wise. I took time to enjoy the scenery when we first boarded, but then finished off the eyes right before we were called in for dinner. Which was delicious, by the way. This train never stops bringing you food. It was amazing. Once I was back in the room, I started lining the base. Also, I just wanted to say that this was probably one of the top views I've had scenery-wise for working. Finally, not much else, but I ended up finishing off the night, finishing the front face lining and installing the eyes. Every morning looks this gorgeous, by the way. Well, now that we're up for day 2, why don't you just join me for some train ambience? Let's go! Now, if you hadn't noticed, I did nothing on the head today. I was too busy enjoying the train. Yep. On to day 3! I don't know why a lot of people seem to dislike the prairie section so much. It was like my second favorite area. Just endless open fields of highlighter yellow. I made sure to get back to work today, accompanied by the views of the endless flowers. By the afternoon, I finished lining the entire head, foamed the back, and foamed the ears. Also, 1 in a million chance, but the furry convention Fur A in Edmonton was actually going on during this trip. The convention center was actually only a few minutes away, but I was honestly too scared to go check it out for fear of being left behind. The stop was like 3 hours, but I was just terrified that something was gonna go wrong. But I did manage to pay somebody from the convention to actually run me up a convention shirt to the train stop. So I actually still got the convention shirt anyway. And ta-da! Here it is. Honestly, this was my favorite souvenir from Canada. I worked a bit more into the night after that, since I knew that tomorrow would be our last night on the train. And I stuck to the floor so I wouldn't get fuzzies all over the bed. Day 4 was definitely the most scenic part of the trip, going through Jasper, I believe it was. While I knew I still had a lot to finish on the head today, I definitely still took time to enjoy all the views and everything from the train.
Via Rail Canada, it is a pleasure to welcome you aboard trains.
The trees are blocking our beautiful view of nature. That is going to be the quote of the day.
The remaining bits of the head took a little over 6 hours to do, which I concluded because I managed to get through 3 movies by the time I finished it. And I'm sorry I did not showcase the dry brushing process. I wanted that to be a big thing since I knew I wouldn't be able to bring my airbrush supplies on the airplane on the way up here, but I completely forgot to film it anyway. But yeah, I had to dry brush this head instead of airbrushing it, and it turned out pretty nice. And finally, after a nice celebratory dinner, Yukon Wolf was done. I had such a fun time building him. I tend to bring work with me on trips all the time because I get bored pretty easily of just being on vacation. I like being able to build things even when I'm away from home, and trips like this are helping me get it down to a science. The train ride itself was really fun too, and it was my first time ever actually being on a train, and I feel like the room we had was a bit more plush than some other trains, and it might have ruined the experience for other trips, but I doubt I'm ever gonna go on a train again, so. I'm sorry it took so long to edit the video. It was a lot of footage to work through, but I did eventually need to get this out because it's now causing me to be behind on convention vlogs. If you haven't noticed, fursuit making is still currently my full-time job. I've been applying to loads of conventions lately and pumping out suits a lot if you follow me on other social medias. I still have plans to change that, but it turns out the waiting period to potentially get an officer position in the military is a lot longer than I originally thought. I'm talking like 2 years out from when I originally made the decision. So I've decided to just enjoy the slow ride out and just work as much as I can in the meantime. Anyway, I hope this video wasn't too poorly put together for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Next year my family wants to travel by boat, so I may have another video of this type to try out then. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!